Hi, it's Handy Val. Recently I began to notice that my R129 soft top side windows are becoming somewhat deformed. The center one is good, but these side windows have seen better days. I'm worried that they might crack. If you look closely, you're going to see those jagged little lines. I find the culprit, and in this video I'll be using a preventive measure to stop them from getting any worse. And these two pieces of Mercedes foam valued at about $10 each are going to stop these side windows from getting any worse. What happens is that when the soft top folds, the rear bolts end up resting on these side windows, and after many repeated openings and closings, that rubbing of metal onto plastic starts to deform these side windows and ultimately breaking it. Mercedes knows about this fault and has issued a bulletin and a repair fix. I have two documents here. I believe one is the Mercedes repair procedure and one is from a soft top replacement manufacturer. Both are saying roughly the same thing, but their maybe measurements slightly a bit off. There's not a lot of information on this, so I'm going to allow you to pause the screen. So this is the repair fix, and this is the soft top manufacturer. So what they're saying, and we'll get into the details of it, is that this type of sponge, or the old sponge, located here, is supposed to move over a little bit there. And they provide measurements of how to get to where the proper sponge or new piece should be located. And reading it through, they kind of say that the new piece is actually bigger than the old piece. And we're going to see it in my car there. Now, the old piece is actually not as thick as this. Mind you, it's wider, but it's not as thick, and I think that's what's causing the problem. The other thing you're going to notice is that this impacts the 1990 to 1994. Now that would mean model years 1990 to 1995, because it says manufactured between 90 and 1994. I'm going to be making the fix on my 92 R129. I'm doing this outside, although ideally you want to be in the garage. My home garage doesn't have the clearance, so I'm doing this outside. But I picked a 0 wind day, or very, very light wind. I'm going to keep this rooftop in an open position for some time, so I want it, so it has to be very little wind while you're doing this. Otherwise you risk deforming the soft top frame if it's too much of a windy day. Let's get this rooftop in position. I'm going to press the button, and I'm going to stop it just at the point when this back piece flips up and the other piece flips the other way, and that's going to give me a lot of space to do what we need to do here. Right, so you can sort of see the old piece right there, and you can sort of see here's the new piece. Obviously it's smaller than the new piece, but it's much, much, much thicker. And what ends up happening is that this roof so let's get this piece out, and we're going to do all the proper measurements, and then we're going to put the new piece in exactly where it needs to fit. And actually these pieces here, my roof is it's been redone, and I think when I read the specs, they ended up reusing the same piece, but I think originally should have been more on this side, and they moved it over, so it's roughly the right location, but again, it's the old piece, and it's got to be this new piece. Let's get these guys out. You can sort of see there's a little bit of a lip here with this carpet. You're going to want to get to it, peel it off a little bit. Just put some tape there, okay? And you're going to want to try your best to get that out. A little tricky, but not hard to do. All right, so there you go. You can sort of see the old pieces there. Okay, and they're out. But I kind of did remove these. The new piece is going to go on top of here. So what I ended up doing, I just ended up reusing. I mean, there's some glue here, and you just want to get it back to its original position, which I think works pretty good here. So I wouldn't actually, at this point, you could use double-sided tape, but you know, this thing seems to be holding on pretty good. Let's now do the other side. So you can see what were there in my car. Now, I don't know if these are original, but you could certainly tell the difference in height is quite significant. So it makes a lot of sense that that could be causing the issue on my car. There's just not enough lift in these compared to the most recent OEM Mercedes. And you're supposed to find the center of here, and I'm using these holes over here. You can sort of see the hole over there and the hole over here, and I'm using inches here. It's the only thing I could find, this nice piece of metal here, yardstick type. And I'm trying to find the center, and I've marked the center right here. They're actually they end up being about exactly 4 feet off each other, so they're going right down to the 24. I'm going to just tape this here so I don't lose it. It will help me provide a decent guide. Now you can tell here by the center, which I've located using the stick, and it's 465 millimeters until you get to the new piece, to the edge of it. Now 465 millimeters is 18.3 inches, and I've marked it, the 18.3 going from there to there is right where that line is. So that thing is kind of supposed to go over here. And then what it also does provide is measurements in terms of how far from here to there before you go in and glue it in. Alright, so I've got everything here kind of measured. This is going to be roughly around there, and the measurements, depending on the procedures, I mean, one says 6.5 inches, one says 178 millimeters, which is about 7 inches, so they're roughly there. I'm thinking of maybe splitting the difference, so if we leave that there, it should be around right over there. There's your 7 inches, and that's about 5.5 inches, which is somewhat consistent with this, which is saying 6.5 versus 5 inches. Yeah, it's kind of close to the 5 inch right there. Just moved it. So if that's 5, and so that's about 7. The official Mercedes says 7 versus the roof manufacturer says 6.5. So maybe we're going to split the difference a little bit. Let's go 6 3/4. Make sure it's lined up with that line over there, which puts it over here. Now the old ones are a little bit on this side, but again, I'm not sure where mines were coming from or why they were there, and they might have been fiddled around with the whoever put this roof in many years ago. All right, so I've kind of did use these as kind of a guide, and that's where I'm going to nestle it in just like that. Now what we're going to do is just make sure, again, from the center there, we're supposed to get 18.3 inches, and you can sort of see it right over there. It's around that 18 1/4, 18 1/2. So we got in the right spot. Let's try it out. So there is an adhesive at the end of this. I'm also going to drop a couple of drops of crazy glue and piece it down. Okay, let's get this thing peeled off. Okay. Let's get some crazy glue. There's some Gorilla Glue that I've got here. Okay, you don't want to go crazy on this either, right? Just a few drops, a couple of drops there. Another drop there. Another drop at the corners. I'm going to put one in the middle. Take this, put it right there. Press down on it. Okay. We're going to leave that for a bit, and let's do the next side. So I've got this one set up just the same. Let's peel this off. Always double check these things over and over. Okay, a few drops of this. Yeah, so we're going to have it nestled in there. Okay. What you're going to do is just apply some pressure. side to side just to sort of like kind of get that glue activation, make sure the sticky part sticks to everything. Looks like we got it, so I think now we're done. All right, folks, looks like we've got it. We're ready to go. You may want to, I mean, obviously I pre-cleaned this area with a lint roller, vacuum, etc. I also took the opportunity to use silicone grease on the rubber around here. You don't really get to see this rubber. You can't really clean it unless the roof is in this position. See this rubber? I haven't touched this rubber, but I'm going to do it again. I'm not that I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with silicone, and this should make it last a lot longer. You're going to want to not put your roof down. What I mean by completely down, you may want to close this with the soft top on as opposed to the soft top stowed until these things kind of dry out, and I would probably give it, you know, 12 to 24 hours. You're probably thinking if you should do this too. Look into this. I think everyone should actually look into it and see the position if they got the new sponges. And again, the dead giveaway is the thickness of them, and I'll give you the measurements in the video description. Certainly if you're getting your roof done, you definitely want to ensure that they are following the latest Mercedes guidance here. On the screen you'll see another one of my useful 1990s Mercedes era DIY video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye for now. Handy Val.